I don't think so.
What? Does this sound terrible or really good? I don't know. I am so confused.
I could never forget.
Okay, right, okay. First and foremost, what I'm going to do is, before we even talk about that, I'm going to take off these headphones and put in my other ones. It sounds really, really cool from a musical standpoint, and it's really, really fun and modern and unique and chaotic and different and, you know, all of the different adjectives I can use there. But it sounds a bit shit at the same time. Does it sound a bit shit to anyone else? Is it my headphones? Is it just I haven't got the right audio mix for it? Wow. It's like Alpha Wolf on fucking heroin.
Don't fuck with me, you don't fucking say I can believe you're part of me, not anymore, I'm done! Why do I live with? Why I live with your fucking guilt? Why do I live with your fucking guilt? Why do I live with your fucking guilt?
What is that tone? We were in a fucking in a parrot enclosure a minute ago with all the fucking what am I talking about? I don't know. This album's fucking all that shit. Felt like we were in the middle of a fucking where do they store birds? What has this album got me talking about? It was literally like they just fed a load of fucking canaries to a big dragon. What the fuck am I talking about? Wait for the birds. They just fucking threw a big cage of birds into a load of big tigers or something. What am I on about? But that was like Alpha Wolf on drugs, which is already insane because Alpha Wolf, you know, to most people would probably be that band that is just on drugs. They're not actually on drugs. Well, they could be on drugs, but I'm not implying that Alpha Wolf are on drugs is what I'm trying to say. I'm implying that these guys are like if Alpha Wolf did heroin and lots of it. So I am doing the second headphone swap of the video already, and we've done 2 songs, which is a bit wild.
Stay with me!
So cool. It's almost like not even metal. It's just like it has breakdowns, so it categorizes itself as metal. It's just trap metal. This is not a metal song. It's Suicide Boys. It's fucking cool though, man. These guys gotta be Australian, right? That is so cool. I still am undecided if I like it, but it's undeniably cool. I don't know if I love that song. I like how they're returning to this narration that we had in the intro. Okay, let's take a moment to pause. We're gonna go into Switchblade OST, which I think was one of the singles. Wow. Okay, so the initial notes I have written on this track is, again, it reminds me of the experimentation, the creativity, and just the general playfulness of taking something that has been done so many times with this style, this like pissed core, new metalcore style that we've heard so many times, and it's really getting creative with it, you know, with the pitch shifting, the fucking distortion, all of the dynamic elements across the production, the alien noises, all of the different layerings, the vocal layerings, the, you know, the harmonized vocals. There's so much going on, the screams, the bass drops, all of that's going on. It's reminding me of Northlane by Alien, or Alien by Northlane a little bit. You know, that might be complimenting it too much right now, but it's definitely, you know, in that same creative ballpark. In saying that, part of me wishes it wasn't like tuned so low, because I love the creativity across the board, but I find that sometimes bands are just like in this race to just be as distorted and low and disgusting as possible that it kind of like loses the integrity of the actual song in the first place. It's like there's so much, all of the things I mentioned there a moment ago, like the bass drops, the pitch shifting, the dissonant notes, the whammy squeal, everything that's going on is fun individually, but when it's all happening at the same time, and there's such an emphasis on the distortion of the mix overall, it can get very muddy and just almost like it is just noisecore at that point, which I'm not a big fan of. Now, again, I think there's so much in here that's really, really fun, and it's a very particular type of mood, and for what they're going for, I think they're doing a really good job. But personally, they've done all this in tracks like, I go back to Enigma, where it didn't feel as distorted, and there was definitely moments where the track could breathe a little bit more. Now, in saying that, there was a really nice like hook line in this and a melody that we haven't heard in the tracks prior to this. So that's already a positive. You know, there's a bit of melody in there, because an album like this, even though it's only 35 minutes long, can get very repetitive if it's just the same kind of like screechy, disgusting breakdowns and ridiculously creative moments. But at the same time, it's still all within that same, you know, monotone, not monotone, but when you listen to 35 minutes of it, it can get monotone because it's like the same notes and chords being played, you know, continuously. So having that little break of melody is definitely very much so appreciated by me, and it's why I even considered checking this album out in the first place, because the first track and the only track I've heard by these guys before this was Enigma, and that has a great chorus. It has all of the fun, scratchy, screechy new metal core stuff that we're hearing in this, but it's also keeping like integrity as like a song that, you know, can be played over and over again, because it has that real fun chorus in it that's just really catchy.
You won't make it! Well, I'd like to say you try! You can't get rid of me! I'm your emo side, no talking about suicide, making all these bitches cry from roll, ride or die. I'm that white boy screaming in your face with the bass kicking. Just in case, switching blades, switching emo side, no talking about suicide, making all these bitches cry from roll, ride or die. I'm that white boy screaming in your face with the bass kicking. Just in case, switching blades, switching.
Fucking hell, it's like we're just redlining for the entire track. Like, it almost feels like the mix can't keep up with the amount that's going on. It's just constantly at that limiter, you know, for the entirety of this fucking album. Fucking hell, man. That dial-up broadband riff, and then the little fucking new metal core. Jesus.
Just look at me now. You're fucking
man, it's like a combination of a printer and dial-up broadband combined together to make some of these riffs. Okay, right, this is exactly the type of music that I think of when I heard Buster Oldham talking about his idea of what makes... I'm gonna wait until this stops because I can't concentrate. I'm gonna have a point specifically on this track. Pause. Perfect time to pause. Okay, so
what I want to do with my stuff is basically try to have the drums be as fat as like a EDM song or whatever, but make it work in the metal context, and making the guitars be, I mean, my guitars are in the bass range. Let's be honest, they're like basses, I guess.
Yeah.
But using that range of frequencies and making that work with the huge drums is not very easy, but I kind of want the very like maximalist type sound.
Yeah.
that's exactly what I mean by that Buster philosophy of like, it's not even about the breakdown, it's about the soundscape as opposed to like having the guitars be the prominent part of the breakdown. Like, I don't even know what that noise was, but you know, I'm gonna like the tracks that I have an initial feeling towards that I'm like, that is so fucking sick and heavy, and it'll fit in some kind of a playlist. It'll probably just be in the disgusting filth playlist, but there's like moments in it that make it so that I can't really see myself going back to it much. Like, again, like I mentioned, that big wall of sound crushing breakdown thing that they had at the start. I don't even know if you call it a breakdown, but it's like so ridiculous that I don't know how much I'd listen to it. Now the riff towards the end and that fun moment I think was sick. You know, it's a little bit more traditionally modern metal and not like this super hyper modern metal. Is this the future of metal music? This is a genuine question. I feel like everything I've discussed so far feels like this is the direction we're going in. Where the guitars are there, but they are most certainly not like intended to be the forefront. I'm indifferent to it. I think if the song's good, the song's good, you know, but interested to see people's opinions. Okay, so off the dome, that was a very, very fun album to listen to, regardless of my overall final thoughts. I think it was just an objectively fun album. There was so much happening, so much chaos, so high energy, and just so many different talking points. Like, you see, like, I got a bit carried away with speaking there at certain points, which I do quite often, but my ratings for each track, and technically my overall rating for the album, if we get the calculator out, because this is, again, the first time I've actually done this way, I'm going to actually go track by track. So track number 1 was an 8, and then an 8 again for track number 2. Okay, so overall final album score is 87.8, and then we're going to divide that by 11 equals 7.981, which leaves this album at an 8 out of 10. And you know what? That actually fucking worked out, because I would leave this album at an 8 out of 10. Honestly, any sort of genre blending, as you guys may know if you've seen some of the more enthusiastic videos on my channel where I've really enjoyed any particular album or track, it's generally groove orientated, melody orientated, or it's like creatively orientated, if that makes sense, or like genre pushing or progressive, something that kind of blurs the line between metal and other genres. Because I've come from, you know, growing up I listened to a lot of rap music, and then in my kind of teen years I listened to a lot of dance music. I did listen to metal a little bit, you know, in my teen years as well, but I never got into it like I have been over the past couple of years. But I love loads of different genres, you know. I'm a sucker for just simple pop music. I love technical dance music. I love simple dance music. I love deep house, trance, techno. I used to love hardstyle, don't really love it anymore. I don't mind dubstep. I think it's pretty fun as an overall soundscape, but musically I'm just kind of like meh. And then obviously metal, the rabbit hole goes so deep with like the amount of different genres of metal, etc, etc. So trap metal being involved in, or trap being involved in metal, is such a cool combination. I thought that was really fun. When they do get into riffs, this is a positive. When they do actually riff, because obviously there's a few moments in it where it's just like walls of sound. And again, I'll touch on the Buster production style of things that I touched on earlier, and make sure you interpret that the way I want you to. I'm not saying that this production sounds like anything Buster has made before. I'm just talking about Buster's kind of outlook from what I understand with his conversation with Ola on that podcast that he did, the coffee podcast that he did with Ola. But we'll get back to that in a moment. So when these guys actually do riff and they actually play more than just, you know, dissonant chords with, you know, pitch shifted notes and this kind of stuff, I think they've got some really sick riffs in there. There was some really fun riffs. I think Delirium is a great example, which is one of the tracks that I did add to the playlist of a sick riff, fucking insanely fun bouncy riff. It's trying to create disgusting soundscapes that happen to have distorted low tuned guitars and screams, which to me feels like the direction that really modern metal is going in. You know, guitars as we go on seem to be becoming less and less prominent, or less and less the center of attention in this like hyper modern metal. We've seen it with the likes of again, I hate keep bringing it up, but I just feel like Northlane are always one step ahead of the curve, and they have shown in their most recent EP with the Let Me Disappear track, with that breakdown with the dubstep shit, that is just something I've never heard before. You know, I've never heard that done before, and there's been a few times that Northlane have done stuff that I've never heard before, and they just seem to be pioneering a lot of these modern metal sounds, and then a lot of bands start to follow suit. This to me felt like there was a lot of that going on. It was more so about the moment and the like crazy atmospheric nature, or like the ridiculous moment within a particular breakdown, as opposed to it being like, here's the guitars, here's the chugs. You know, it's not necessarily about that, and I think that's what Buster is trying to get across, I think, overall, when he talks about, you know, his ideas and like how he looks at, like, you know, EDM for example, and he tries to create like soundscapes like that. You know, he takes like influence from that, and I think that's kind of where I see metal going over the next couple of years. I don't know if it's just because of how much is going on, it's just naturally going to sound muddy, or if it's just not done well and it's not able to cater for how much shit they've got going on. It's almost like too ambitious. There's so much noise is happening. I like that crunchy, low tuned guitar sound, but I still want to be able to hear the like note resonate. You know, I still want to be able to hear the actual string being plucked, and understanding that this is a guitar and this is possibly something that I could actually aspire to play or achieve with that modern sound. Like, I think is a positive, and I've mentioned as a positive. I think it comes with the flip side that it can go down a route of like, I want to be able to listen to music that I can understand over, whether it take a couple listens or just on the first listen, and I can understand, right, well, this is this note, this is this note, he's playing this at this time, and maybe someday I can play it, you know, if I learned it. There's, you know, there's certain bands that you can listen to these days, and you need like the highest tech equipment. You need this pedal, you need this pedal, you need this plug-in, you need this style of guitar, you need your guitar upside down, you need 19 strings. Like, there's just so many like barriers to entry, and I feel like it kind of takes a lot of the fun out of metal sometimes, because, you know, it's gone so digital, and like there's so much happening on the production side of things that you can't even really tell what's human anymore, you know? So there's part of it in this that kind of makes me feel that way, where it's like, it's so mental that there's like, it doesn't even feel like there's a human playing it at some points. It's just so much fucking noise and chaos. But I understand it's angry, it's pissed off, it's chaotic, but part of me just kind of thinks that as much as I do like that modern metal feel to it, you know, something about it does feel quite robotic. And then my only other kind of like negative, and not necessarily a negative because I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but it's only more so to do with my expectations that I had, is the lack of like really prominent choruses or melody. There was 3 tracks that I recall having like moments of melody, which was Faded, Hell Inside You, and Clickbait, all of which I didn't actually even add to my playlist. So even though there was melody in those tracks, they still didn't even really get me. So, you know, 3 tracks of 11 having melodic moments, whether that be in a chorus or just like a you know, a more chilled atmospheric piece within the track, which is kind of disappointing because again, my own expectations maybe set me up for that. But that Enigma track, which was the first track, and the only reason as to why I checked this album in the first place, was that Enigma track was fucking mental and really, really catchy. And it had everything we had in this album, but it also had that like big chorus that would keep me coming back to it. That's kind of where I feel, you know, that's how I feel about that. I just feel like I would have enjoyed a few more tracks similar to Enigma. But other than that, I think it's still a solid album. These guys have, what, I think 2 albums. So, you know, clearly they're still young in the game. And like I said, I could see these guys definitely with this sound, you know, progressing metal, as we touched on earlier. I think it was Burb's video that he was talking about it, and he referenced someone else's video who said like they're not progressive metal, they're like progressing metal. So yeah, that's my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think of this album. 8 out of 10 for me is my final rating. Hope you did enjoy. Sorry for waffling so much, but when I have a lot of thoughts and feelings and passion towards certain topics, I just like to waffle. So that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm signing out. Look after yourselves. See you in the next one. Cheers.